Herzlich willkommen. Guten Morgen. New week and a lot of stuff that's going to happen through the next week as it's election time. But also the markets are on a crucial point of make it or break it. And what I've witnessed in the previous 24 hours is that the amount of bullishness is insane on every slight bounce of the market. So I'm still skeptical about what's happening on the current state of the markets, and I think that any retrace that could occur on the market should be quite healthy. However, it could be painful for altcoins still. Ethereum made a slight bounce yesterday on the BTC pair, and all of a sudden the bears became bulls. Which is fine, but that's why I wanted to discuss Ethereum and why I'm still skeptical on the movements. If you like my content, please subscribe to the channel or reply beneath so I know what type of content you'd like to see. If you want to trade alongside me, want to see my market insights, check out the website that we have built. There's a great platform and group as well. Regarding Ethereum, first of all, I'd like to discuss the Ethereum BTC chart, in which we have been discussing this over and over again. And from this perspective, I still want to see a clear bottom construction before I'm interested in taking any long positions at all. What did we discuss? Yes, we have discussed that the best period for altcoins is actually twice a year, which is the first quarter of the year and during the summer. And the history has shown that bottom constructions are made in December, January. So what we see on this chart is that since Ethereum has been listed on Bittrex, and it's one of the oldest charts that I could find, every time the fourth quarter has been painful. So we see a retrace at the end of 2015, we see a retrace at the end of 2016, we see a retrace at the fourth quarter of 2017, we also see it in 2018, we see a slight sideways construction in 2019, but a bottom test in December and January. And what do we see here again? We do see that since the beginning of September we are retracing south, through which we are actually testing a previous resistance zone for support, and just correcting to see whether we can make a new higher low to be able to surge afterwards towards the next resistance zone. So based on history, and it's sample size is 5, we see that every time the fourth quarter is bad for Ethereum. So given that we've had this huge surge during the summer, there's no reason to be holding altcoins that heavy until we see a clear bottom construction, or at least we can see that there's a certain interest in the Ethereum or other altcoins at this point. And as Ethereum is the main indicator for altcoins, Ethereum is the one to be watched. So what do we see further on Ethereum? We can include some 100 and 200 weekly MAs. We can see that the 100 week MA is beneath us, indicating that the previous resistance at 0.26 Satoshi is a very crucial level to hold, and that's the area that I'll be watching in the coming period for any constructions of bullishness. Above us we do see the 200 week MA, and we have got a clear resistance found at the range high, which was also tested in the beginning of 2019, through which it is very likely that we're going to test this range low again before we can start continuing moving upwards. As we have been acting inside 1 year accumulation range, we moved in this accumulation range for a year after we've had a period of 1 year in this range, and now we're going to establish a period where we are going to act inside this range again. And then once we break above 0.4 Satoshis, the next resistance zones are 0.6 and 0.7, and then you can actually expect a very large move to occur on Ethereum. But based on the weekly, I'm looking at anything between 0.24 and 0.26 Satoshis. As we are approaching that area, I think we are slowly getting into less substantial drop downs, so more of a rounded bottom structure through which we can start moving upward later on. But expect BTC charts to be relatively boring. If we get towards the Ethereum BTC chart on a Binance, we can see that in the daily time frame, we can see that we've tested the previous high. It's created a slight bounce up, but there's still the crucial resistance to break, which is around the 0313 sets level. As long as we do not break this resistance zone, there's no clear confirmation that we're going to see any bullishness at all. So if we do see some further upwards movements, this area is the clear resistance zone. If we reject there and come back down again, it seems very likely that we're going to test this area that I've just been describing. This would also implement a potential bullish divergence opportunity. But if we get in this range, I'll be happily inclined to take any longs on the markets. So nice bounce up on the daily. 4 hour time frame, we're already correcting, and that's also because of Bitcoin showing some corrections, as we can see. The weekly time frame on Ethereum USDT, we can actually see that we've also found resistance here, which is similar to the weekly level that we've had on the BTC pair. What are the levels that I'll be watching? Well, a clear break of 440 would incline that we're going to rally further towards potentially even $832. If we do correct further down the road, levels that I'll be watching are quite clear. I think the range between 295 to 252 is the area that we're going to bottom out, through which I'll be looking for longs in this area here. However, the daily time frame is critical on this regard. So what we see on the daily time frame is that the price of Ethereum has bounced towards 317, found support there, broke above 390 as a crucial resistance zone, and now we are holding on to a crucial support level. So as long as Ethereum holds 367 towards $380, everything is fine, and we might be tapping some up some more. However, if we do lose this trend line, and I'm not doing too much with trend lines. If we do lose this trend line and we get that rising wedge construction like we see here, it's very likely that we're going to lose this area at 367 to 380, and then it's very and even more likely to see the liquidity being taken below the lows here. So in that regard, I'm looking at longs around 295, but I would not be eager to step into longs too soon until I see a clear bottom construction. And once we break down this rising wedge, I think Bitcoin will also be correcting some more, but you'd be looking at the area around 295 below this 315 level for any longs, and then you can get a more clear bottom construction, which will most likely bring the markets back up in the first quarter of 2021. Is it bullish in general? Yes, but if we get some more healthy corrections, that would not be bad for the markets in general. I think it's quite healthy. Bitcoin dominance, we have been describing this. It's a little bit crushed through to the hex move, but we are still following the plan that we want to. We might be running a little bit higher towards 65-66%. As you can see in the history, December is always the period that there's the top structure. So I think we're going to top out around Christmas as well, probably around 65-66%, and from there we can see altcoins do relatively well. Slight view towards Bitcoin to top off this video of today. We can see that we're showing weakness, and we are still inside the crucial area to hold. If we hold the area around 13.5, everything is fine. If we slam dunk through it, and we do see that there's bearish divergence all over the place, I think we're going to see a sell-off, and then I'm looking at the area around 12.7 to 12.9 for any potential longs. But then I think we're going to see further corrections and crashes on the altcoin markets. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I'll be back tomorrow with a fresh one on the markets.